I'm Charlotte Curtis, Head of Adult Services with your Livingston Parish Library. I'm here today for a weekly series that's been going on through the summer. I know that you've been tuning in to watch Brandi James with the Livingston Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. You're used to seeing both of us sitting in the same room, although we've been careful to maintain social distancing. We filmed most of the videos earlier in the summer, just as we were beginning to go into phase 2 when COVID numbers were going down. Now that they're on the upswing again, to be safe, we're taking social distancing to another level. We're conducting our meeting today through Zoom. It's the first one that we've done. I've already had to restart the video. Let's see, how many times, Brandi? 6?
I have no idea. Yeah, it's been about that.
It's been a bunch. The point is it's a new technology. And the first time that you use a new technology, it can be a little intimidating.
Yes,
if you just
definitely
keep plowing along though, you get there. And the only way that I was able to manage this was I had some people here on my end that could come in and help me do things. So that brings us up to what we're going to be talking about today in today's episode of Getting Emergency Wise. Because, Brandi, everybody knows that the police can help you and that the fire department can help you and that even EMTs can help when you've got a problem. But sometimes when there's something like COVID or a natural disaster like a hurricane or a tornado or a terrible flood, there are what I'm calling unsung community heroes. In other words, the people that don't pop into your head immediately when you're thinking, I've got a problem and I need help. Who can I call? So today, you're going to tell some of our patrons about the people out there in our community that can provide help when disaster strikes and they need it. So
yes,
first of all, thank you. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you stepping up and doing this Zoom meeting. I know that both of us have enjoyed so much being together, but I appreciate very much you being willing to step out and try Zoom. Thanks.
Oh, no problem. Whatever we need to do.
Everybody join me in a round of applause. Okay. So what can you tell me about the other people in the community that can help?
Okay. Well, if you don't mind, I also would like to talk about the police departments, the sheriff's office, the fire department, because there's stuff that they also do that's kind of outside of their normal duties during a disaster. So let's start with the sheriff's office. They help out with, of course, normal duties. They do high water rescues. They, with vehicles and boats, the deputies will go to a certain location and borrow our sandbag machine. And this is something they don't normally have to do. They will fill sandbags for people who are unable, for health reasons or they're old, a little bit older and they just they don't have the capability to fill their own sandbags.
If I needed sandbags and my sons who are essential workers were unable to come over, they would do that for me?
Yes, they would. They have people out there around the clock filling sandbags, and if there's a great need and you call in and they can get somebody to bring it out to you, they will do that. Of course, we prefer you come get it because they're trying to keep working to get those sandbags out, but they're trying to help out any way they can.
Well, bless them. That's great.
Yes. And so. And again, they go above and beyond. And so do our local police departments. I don't have specifically what each of them will do, but it's always what comes up, who's available to do what, and who is in the area, and everybody jumps in and pitches in and does what we need to do to help the community. And you have the firemen as well. That they already have a servant's heart because most of them are volunteer firefighters. So, they're working to do rescues, they're working medical. They also some of them have chainsaw crews that will go out and
No way.
they'll clear up roadways. They'll come help clear trees, you know, if it's, you know, fallen on a vehicle, a home, you know, stuff like that. They will come help. Yeah.
So after Katrina, we had a huge tree fall. So
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's above and beyond their normal duties to serve the public. And so I just wanted to spotlight that. And then there are so many out there that jump in and help during a disaster that, you know, I might not have thought of, or I might not have had a contact for right now. But I did contact the ones that stuck out to me the most, that have worked with us the most during disasters. Okay. And so I'll start with Catholic Charities. They will come out and do what we call pods. They are points of distribution. Typically
points of distribution. Got it.
Points of distribution, and for short, we always call them pods. And that's for them. DHH does pods. The National Guard does pods. You know, they all have their different purposes, but they're all, you know, just pods. Catholic Charities will typically do them at their churches, you know, but they are not above going just wherever it is we need them to go to set up a point of distribution. And that would be food, that would be hygiene kits, clothing, you know, just anything that's needed at that point.
Wonderful.
They also offer mental health services, which we all know during the 2016 flood, we were almost every person in this parish was affected, and that really takes a toll on you. So
it does.
Yeah, and so they offer that. They're not the only ones, but they offer mental health services for you. And they also have people that are trained to help you with what you call FEMA individual assistance. That's what we call it. Yeah, we call it IA, which I'll use me for example. I flooded during 2016, and so at that point, I needed to go to the center that we always set up after a disaster, where you've got to register with FEMA to see if they can offer you help. It's a daunting process, and so Catholic Charities.
I was going to say, paperwork is difficult enough when you're having a good day, and when you're having a horrible day, and when everybody else that you know is wiped out. It's really just too much. So Catholic Charities will help with that?
Yes, they've taken upon themselves to train some of their people in order to help you with that paperwork. You know, because this is the federal government trying to help you, but it's taxpayer money, so they've got to have checks and balances. So it's a lot of paperwork, you know, because they're wanting to make sure that they're not misusing funds. And so I know it can be pretty daunting and aggravating, the amount of paperwork you have to fill out, but really it's to protect the money that you're supplying to your government to help in a situation like this.
And that's good. I want to know that they're spending my tax dollars well, and I certainly want to help people, but I want to make sure that it's people that have a genuine need.
Yes. And on that front, I also wanted to mention FEMA. I know that FEMA gets a bad rap sometimes, but they do send us people to come in, and the FEMA people aren't out there to try to say, hey, we're the government, you need to do what we say. They're out there to give you information, to let you know how we can help you, how the federal government can help you. And so if people see them out and about after a disaster, they're not there to bully you with anything. They're just there to try to offer you assistance and make you aware of what's available. So there's also the Eastern Louisiana Baptist Association that we work really closely with. I've worked very closely with Dave Brown and Richard Blue and Freddie Arnold. Those are my main contacts. I know Mr. David, or Brother David, has retired since then, but he's always there to help. So a lot of times they'll come in for us and work with the Red Cross, because I don't know if everybody knows, Red Cross tends to run the shelters when they can.
No, I didn't realize that.
Red Cross will come in and when we're not in a disaster time, Red Cross comes in and they do surveys of all the locations that we tag as potential shelters. And so they make sure how many people you can get in there comfortably and feasibly, you know, in order to not just cram everybody in and stuff like that, and develop the resources that we will need to to run those shelters. So the Baptist Association will come in and help run them. They will come in and help feed people. They've come in and fed us during a disaster, all the people working in the Emergency Operations Center. So they've done that. They also have chainsaw crews.
The Red Cross.
No, the Eastern Baptist.
Oh,
Baptist
I'm sorry,
Association.
Eastern Baptist.
I'm sorry.
I got lost. Okay,
Yeah.
Red Cross shelters. Eastern
Yes.
Baptist, got it.
Yeah, so they'll work, the Eastern Louisiana Baptist Association will work with the Red Cross, and they've been through, they've been through Red Cross training to run a shelter. So like I said, they will help man the shelters, they will help feed people, that sort of thing. They also open their churches to us sometimes as shelters, because during the flood, a lot of our schools that were marked for sheltering ended up getting flooded too.
Yeah.
Yes. So at that point, the churches, not just the Baptist churches, but churches all over the parish stepped up and let us bring people in. And so, we're very grateful for that. But again, they have chainsaw crews, and they will go to someone's home, and like say a tree fell on your home during a tornado or high winds during a hurricane or something. They will cut that tree up off of your house. They will throw a tarp out. They will make sure everything's good to go so that then you're ready for an adjuster to come out and take a look and, get your roof fixed.
Wow.
Yeah. And these people come from all over the country to help.
How would I get in touch with one of those crews if I have, I've got a tree on my roof? What do I do?
Yeah. So during a disaster, I should have started with this, but during a disaster, the Emergency Operations Center here in my office is stood up. And so every agency, every organization, typically every business that's important in response to a disaster will send a representative here. We have a big room with lots of computers,
yes,
and everybody can sign in. So Catholic Charities might send a representative, or they might typically they've gone through the Baptist Association. Like the Baptist Association has more people in the area, so they will give us a representative to stay here with us, and they have contact with Catholic Charities or Salvation Army or all of them, and they'll just be the person that coordinates. So anything you need disaster-wise, you call our office, our EOC, which is 225-686-3996.
Would you
That's
repeat that again?
Yes. Okay. So it's our emergency hotline during a disaster. We will only answer this number if we're stood up during a disaster.
And when you say stood up?
Say we have a declaration, there's a storm coming. We're just getting ready. We want to get all the first responders in here, get everything set up, so that we can start responding as soon as things happen. So we're stood up, and we'll put that out to the public.
The command center has been established.
Yes, it's the emergency command center, emergency command center, or
Gotcha.
Emergency Operations Center, I should say.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to get that clear because stood up usually has such negative connotations, and it sounded in this case like it was a good thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, that number is 225-686-3066. I'm sorry, that's my office number. I've messed that up. It's 225.
I was going to say, wait, I know that number.
Yeah, you know that number. Hey, so if you have a question in a non-disaster time about anything, you can call that 225-686-3066, and we will be able to speak to you. That's the number we answer here.
Got it.
But during the disaster, it's 225-686-3996, and that is our emergency hotline.
So 3996 is only during a disaster.
Yes.
Gotcha.
I mean, it still rings up here, but it's in a whole different area and nobody's in there. So it'll just keep ringing and ringing and ringing if you call that during non-disaster times.
Got it.
So, getting back to the Eastern Louisiana Baptist Association, we'll call them ELBA now for short. They also have mud out crews. So if your house floods, they come in and they help clean all that out, so that you don't have mold growing while you're waiting for an adjuster to come out and all that kind of stuff. They have actual crews that come out. They have the spray that they need to do to kill mold. They come out to help. They can provide you with the materials in order for you to do it yourself, or they will also send people to come help. I keep looking down because I have a list, because it'd be hard to remember all of this.
So the Catholic Charities sets up feeding stations.
Correct.
Correct.
They'll do, the pods.
And they also provide counseling, mental health counseling.
Yes, ma'am.
And the Eastern Louisiana Baptist Association have the chain crews, the mud outs, and they're doing
they also do feeding. They mainly do feeding at the shelters, and then they feed us here at the EOC.
Wow.
And you know, like you said, the chainsaw crews, they also put tarps and everything out for you.
See, that's the thing. There's no way I could get up on my roof if I had so that's great.
Yes. And they also have shower trailers that they loan to us if we end up needing them for first responders. You know, if we set up some site for first responders to be able to stay at, we'll have that there. Or if we do have a shelter that doesn't have access to showers, they might provide it there. But typically, like DCFS typically provides those showers. So it's mainly for first responders, you know, and stuff like that, that ELBA helps out with. And again, they also, of course, will offer mental health services. So
both of the faith-based organizations feed the body, but then they also provide counseling for the soul. Got it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And there's actually one more that I'm going to talk about, the Salvation Army.
Oh, of course.
Yes. They, every time we have a storm heading our way, for sure, somebody's calling me saying, hey, what can we do? Or I'm the new contact, or I just want to make sure you remembered who I am. If you need anything, give us a call. And all of them do this. They also offer mobile feeding sites. And so they will fix meals somewhere, and then they will go out and distribute them to the community. So they go
out in the community and do it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So, so they bring it to you rather than you needing to come to them.
That's great.
And they could provide shelter at their site, but their site's in Baton Rouge. So that would be, you'd have to go, you know, out of the parish.
Yeah.
They also distribute the cleanup kits to help with the houses. And again, they offer the emotional and spiritual counseling and stuff like that during and after a disaster.
Wow. So all three faith-based organizations,
yes,
in addition to feeding you, will help with the counseling. That's wonderful.
Yes. And like I said before, these are not the only three.
Yes.
There are more out there. There's a Methodist group that has helped out a lot for us before. I know they helped during Isaac, that I specifically remember. I worked closely with them during that. And that was, you know, helping people get clothing, you know, because if you've got to get out quick, you leave everything. And I know they've helped with more than that. That's just the thing that sticks out in my mind. But any of them, you know, this is just what we can say that we know they offer. But I know that in any of them, we'll do whatever it is we need to do.
They're the ones that will typically be in the command center.
Yes,
so they can disperse the aid to you most readily. So
yes.
A tree's fallen on my house. I've got a hole in my roof, and my house has an inch of mud in it. I could call that number that you gave.
Yes.
And it would go to the emergency command center. Mm-hmm. And then of all the people in that group, you all would figure out the best way to help me.
Yes, because we don't need the public having to go, oh wait, now who is it that's supposed to help with that? Yeah. We want you to be able to call one location, and then we know who to put you in touch with to get you help.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
That's really wonderful.
And if you don't mind, I'd like to mention one more group.
Oh, yes.
I'm kind of aggravated with myself that I almost forgot. I do know that we've got CERT teams being built in the parish. And so that's a Citizen Emergency Response Team is what CERT stands for. Oh. And so there are different groups out there that are putting together teams, and they're getting training. They provide them training around the clock, you know, with helping out with animal sheltering, or helping out with human sheltering and rescues, and just anything that they might be able to help with. They're providing the training for them on that.
So that's Citizen Emergency?
Yes, ma'am. Citizen Emergency Response Teams.
Okay, CERT.
Yes, and you call it CERT. Yes.
Got it.
And so if you're interested in being a part of CERT,
Right.
like I said, there's several groups. So if you just want to call my office at that 686-3066, we can put you in touch with somebody in your area, you know, to get you signed up to help out. Because there's been times when we were shorthanded and it was CERT people. They didn't necessarily call themselves CERT at that point, but it was the public coming in to help answer the hotline. And they were a huge, huge blessing during that time. So
that's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel better. It isn't that you ever want something bad to happen.
Right.
But I feel good now knowing that if something does happen, that I know who to call, and I know that that's all I have to do is have that one number.
Right.
Which, by the way, if you have completed your summer reading program with the Livingston Parish Library, you'll have a notepad that you can write that on with the pencil that we also provide. Yep. So you want to have that number, and I would also program it into your cell phone.
Oh, yes, so that's a great idea.
Yeah, so that when something happens, you know, you can call and the command center will get some help to you.
Yes, yes. And, you know, we also have 911 stationed over here during a disaster.
Oh, so
not the full
everything.
Crew. Yeah, not the full crew, but, you know, the ones to answer those major concerns. And so sometimes, again, like during the 2016 flood, 911 system was overrun.
Of course
it didn't shut down on us like Katrina did, you know, for the New Orleans area, but sometimes you can't get through. They're housed here. So if you can't get through by dialing 911, call the 3996 number, and they're sitting right across from us.
And so you can go, hey.
Yes,
you've got
exactly.
A situation.
Right, because we're constantly taking notes and running, you know, saying, hold on just a second, let me pass it on. And we're just running across, you know, the room to hand stuff to other people. So, yes.
Well, you've certainly given us all a lot to think about, and that's been what I've enjoyed most about working with you this summer. So much of recovery happens before anything ever happens. It's preparing for the emergency.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Right.
Yes. And thank you so much for allowing us to get this information out, because, you know, I can put it on Facebook, I can put it on our webpage, but, you know, not everybody can get that information that they can from a face-to-face, people just talking it out. So thank you very much.
Well, it's our pleasure. And these have been some of our most viewed videos.
Well, good. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
I'm very, very happy that we've had this collaboration this summer. So we've got one more to go. And yes, that one you're going to, let's do a little preview. You're going to be telling people what in our final episode?
Okay, so there is something called hazard mitigation. It's funding that the federal government provides to us at the local level in order to help the communities. You know, we might do drainage projects and stuff like that. But what we're going to speak on today is acquisitions and elevations.
Yeah, okay.
And so that's something to help an actual person with their home in the community.
Okay, well, that'll be something to look forward to then next week for everybody to watch.
Good.
Okay,
Good.
Well, again, Charlotte Curtis and Brandi James using technology to bring you this week's session of Getting Emergency Prepared. So thanks for participating. Don't forget to log this in to your summer reading program, and so that you can earn that badge. But more importantly, please don't forget the things that you've heard today, because it really will help keep you safe. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.